Okay, this is Sky Juice coming to you live and direct from the beautiful island of, oh shoot, where am I? I'm in
Good
Brooklyn.
for good for you. That's good for you. So busy trying to rub it in to let everybody know that that it's warm in Puerto Rico, and you have the nerve to roll that R. So I can feel it. Good for you. That's
I
good
have a
for you.
nerve to roll the R. That
You
is
got a nerve.
funny.
I'm from the beautiful island of Puerto Rico. You can't just say Puerto Rico. You got to roll the R so that I can know that, oh, I'm over here freezing while you nice and warm basking in the sun. And now you in New York now feeling it. But you know what? You brought some warmth with you because when you came here, it got warm. So you real
That's
hot.
the
You a
truth.
hot mama.
That's the truth.
You hot.
I
You
try.
hot. You
Okay,
hot.
thank you.
You hot.
So, so tonight we are talking about, what are we talking about, Brother Nature?
Well, there are a couple of things we're going to talk about. Um, One question we're going to pose is it ever okay to date your best friend or your friend's ex? Okay, or, you know, even death. Like, is that cool for you to date somebody that's your friend, you know? Don't really have to be your best friend, but a real close friend or a cousin or a family member. Is it ever okay to date that person's person, for lack of a better term? You know, is it ever okay? Because I have a friend that's doing that right now. Now, Sky is vehemently against this
You didn't
because me
even
and her
let
talk all
me
the time.
say, I'm sorry to be loud.
Uh,
You didn't even let me say my thing. Let me talk my own self.
well,
You said
all right,
you,
all right. I'm sorry. You know what? Sky's right. I can't speak for Sky. So, um, but that's an interesting question because um, it's an emotional thing when you really think about it, right? Let's just say you were really in love with someone and it didn't work out, but you still got those feelings for that person, and then you find out your boy is crushing that, he's tapping it, and your ex is loving him. I mean, do you give them your blessing, or is there a part of you that's like, oh, this is no, hell no, hell no, Yo, you ready to step to your man? Are you ready to say, yo, dude, yo, you know, yeah, I don't approve of this. But really, you don't have any right or any choice. They're gonna do what they're gonna do anyway. But before Sky speaks on that, I have a friend. He's my best friend. He's been my friend for over 30 years. He's actually a childhood friend. Yeah, I know I look 25, but that's another story. But anyway, my boy, right? He was a friend with this guy we both knew, but he more grew up with the guy than I did. So I seen the guy a few times, and we were cool. He was a very successful corrections officer. He was a captain, actually, I think. And out of the blue, he passed away. He had, I don't think he was eating right, and here we go. This is a wellness show. Reportedly, he kind of lived in McDonald's. Now, when you looked at him, he was a very handsome guy, built. You know, he was like a god. You know, he's like a Adonis. Like this guy was like the man when he was around. He was like basically the alpha male of the group. You know, and we all respected him. We loved him too. But he prematurely passed away. You know, fairly young. And my best friend and him were friends. They weren't the best friends. You know, I was probably his best friend, and there was another guy that was his best friend. But he was ranked up there as far as like admirable friend. Okay, he passed away. It took us all by surprise. You know, we were all shocked and hurt to hear the news. His wife, I mean, I always admired her. I always called her the kingmaker because she was one of these females that even when she got involved with him, because they were involved very young, and she basically took this guy and put him on the straight and narrow. You know, that's how he had the successful career. She was his rock. And she's a lawyer, and she's like, I call her the kingmaker because her sons, I think she has 3 sons, and they're all like very successful. And I always joke with who said his name? I always joke with him and say, man, the king. Well, let me tell you, as time went on, you know, he was always the consummate friend. You know, when the guy passed away, he was always there. He took over the man role of the house. You know, he would shovel the snow. You know, he would always be there. He was if anything went wrong in that house, he came over as a friend. Well, you know what? She started to really love him. And one day she just hit him with it. And at first, he felt bad, like he didn't want to do it, but she was just the type of woman that he always needed. You know what I mean? Just the type. And at first, when he first started entertaining the thought, I was angry at him. I was like, man, how could you do that, man? Yo, you pissing on this guy's grave. You a sucker, man. Yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, how could you do that to him? But as time went on, I started to realize that, you know what? Like, they're good together. Like, she really loves him. And I think that he is the love of her life. I think that with the guy that passed away, they were young. It was more like business. But with my best friend, it's more like the love of her life. Like, she really, really loves him. So the question is it ever okay, to date your best man or your best friend's counterpart? So now, Sky, what up? I'm gonna mute.
Well, in my personal opinion, I don't think it's ever okay, ever, ever okay to date someone who has sex with someone you used to have sex with. I just think it's disgusting, and I just think that the space and the time and the 7 billion people on the planet, there are too many people around the world that you can make a connection with somebody else. And I just think people are lazy and don't want to take the time to find that other person. But, you know, in the adult world, you know, people excuse to do foolishness. So, you know, people say, well, we're adult, we're grown, so we can overlook feelings and emotions and connections. So I say it's never a good idea, but I know it happens, and I know people do it still, and it's not going to stop anybody, no matter what my opinion is. But I can tell you my opinion is, I remember I was attracted to this guy and found out that he had not even long-term relationship dated. Like, he had like short-term dated someone I knew. I didn't even know them well. They weren't even a friend of mine. I was not interested in him anymore. I feel like that's kind of like my own personal rule. If I know you and I know someone you know and I know you dated that person, you are no longer interesting to me. I feel like I want to meet someone that nobody knows, that I don't know any connections to who you are. You know what I mean? And that's just where I am. But I don't really think some of the reasons why. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could go into. I want to believe that most people find that awkward and weird. You know, I can definitely tell you how a couple. Has happened to me in a kind of weird, awkward way. Dated a woman I know. We weren't friends at all, but we were associates. We would see each other. We'd be like, peace, how you doing, sis? What's going on? How's everything? Yes, everything is cool. And we were like cool. We were like really cool. Like, we would always hug each other or be like, and we didn't even have each other's phone numbers. We weren't best friends. We weren't buddies. We were just like respect. And when he started dating her, she didn't even cut her eye to look at me. Why? Because he hated me, of course, and he just dogged me to her. And she ended up never talking to me again, never, because in my opinion she had been tainted by how he felt about me. And I just thought that was really unfortunate, because I'm sure before that nothing in her mind ever gave her any reason to not like me. And I think it's one of the, and to this day they didn't even last probably but a few months anyway. But that situation messed up a nice, and it was, like I said, it was a light friendship, but it was nevertheless a relationship I had with a woman who I thought was peaceful and cool and respectful. But she went and dated him knowing that me and him were together for years, and it completely changed. Um, of course, in my book, that's just not cool at all, ever. Um, what other examples? Another friend of mine, her mother, pastor, her husband died like 20-something years ago. Her husband's best friend from childhood, like they've known each other for like 70 years or something, um, she starts dating him. We're talking 20 years after her husband dies. The best friend, and because of their religion, they are not dating for too long. They get married, and that marriage lasts a good 2 years, and that was it. She was like, nope. And I don't necessarily know the dynamics of the relationship, but just hearing about it sounds gross to me, because in my mind, somewhere in my mind, I'm thinking, so all these years your best friend is married to this woman, you were basically checking her out all these years. That's kind of what I'm thinking in my mind. I mean, I'm maybe right, you know, and and that's just how I feel about it. I don't, that's all I got to say about it.
Well, no, I understand what you're saying. Well, first of all, you're an Aries. Aries are very funny about stuff like that,
What?
to my knowledge.
Say
But
it again?
yeah, what'd you say? What?
What did you say?
I said, well, first of all, you're an Aries. I said you're an Aries, and most Aries are funny about things like that. Can you hear me?
I think you said I'm an Aries. Yes. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I Aries are very funny when it comes to things like that. To the ones that I know that are pure, because you always have the the lower portion of any zodiac and the upper echelon. And echelon Aries would never consider something like that. So, I mean, that I get it. I get it. But I think it depends on who you ask. I think there's a comfort level sometimes with who you already know. You don't want to go back out there and start over, that kind of thing. And you might feel comfortable with somebody, you know. At first, I was against it. When my friend told me about it, I was pissed off. I was like, I don't like this. This man is probably rolling over in his grave right now, and I think it's a real shitty thing that you guys are doing. But as time has gone by, I have come to decide that maybe on a spiritual level and a guardian angel ship level, maybe the guy that passed away himself brought them two together, because maybe he just didn't want his wife to be with just any old body, and maybe he thought that my best friend was a perfect match for her. And that's kind of evident now. Like, these two are like peas in a pod. Like, it almost had to happen that way. it's just one of those things. There's no easy answer to this. There's no right or wrong. It's just opinions. It's opinions. When I ask the question, is it ever okay? Yes and no. It all depends on your motives. What are your motives for doing this? You know what I mean? If it's a lustful, lust is always a horrible reason to enter into almost anything. Let's be honest, unless y'all both okay with that just being whatever you guys are doing. Like if you're just gonna taste the forbidden fruit, that's one thing. But a relationship itself, lust doesn't work. You know what I mean? But these two are not in lust; they're in love. And I had to give him my blessing. After a while, I had to say, you know what? I think you guys are meant for each other because when you see each other, it's almost like they be the automatic, like wow. So, and there are lessons in life that we don't understand. You have to consider that too. Maybe the lesson was, maybe the friend that died was to bring those two together. I mean, we don't know, Sky. We don't know. I'm telling you. Where's Claire Clouds at? Where's our counterpart? Where's Claire Clouds? Claire, you're fired. No,
I'm not
just kidding.
sure.
But anyway, nah, she's probably asleep. I mean, it's the morning time in Australia, so she's probably asleep or she hung out at the club too late. Now we can talk about it, but she ain't here to defend herself. But yeah. So I understand your position. I kind of shared the same position. I'll tell you what, though, I kind of did that to a friend of mine. There was a friend of mine who, we were young. I was probably like 18, and there was a friend who called himself trying to holler at my girl at the time, and or so it was said. Not have even done that. He was probably just being nice. But I made the excuse, and I said, oh, he gonna try to holler at my girl. So I stole his girl from him, quote unquote. And so I'm actually guilty of that. Like I stole somebody's girl, because I heard, oh yeah, he's trying to talk to your girl. What? He tried to do what? So I ran up on his girl and I started hollering at her, and she went with, she went with a better player, you know what I mean? And we did our thing, you know what I mean? But I don't know. It's not cool, but it is. It all depends on your motives. What are your motives? Why are you doing this? If you're like really magically in love, like abundantly in love to the point where, it's almost ordained by the universe and God himself, I don't think I have a problem with that. But if you're just doing it to get a piece of ass, that's cheesy because that's your boy or that's your best friend, that's your girl. You don't do that. You know what I mean? You just don't do that. And I've been in many situations. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, that sounds all like poetic and everything, but for example, suppose, okay, case in point, when you, Brother Nature, were in think into your head that time in your life, recently or otherwise, whenever it was, when you were really in love. Like think of that moment when you could think about that person, woman in your life, and you'd be like, gosh, I really love this woman. Emotional, I'm all in, right? And for whatever reason, you broke up, okay? Now, 6 months down the line, your best friend, your homeboy, drives by with her in the car on their way on a date to the movies. What about real true love? Does that make you feel so honorable? Like, and maybe that's me not sounding grown up and adult, but I don't think I'll say, well, I don't think in my mind I can think to, it's good, it's all good. The only time I really don't care, the The only time I don't care is when it's like an ex I really don't care about. Like, get the hell away. Go find somebody quickly. But I still feel like there might be that emotional connection because when there is like a seed still there. You know what I'm saying? Not like a love seed, but just like a feeling seed. I loved them with in a past tense, and they came that they're seeing such and such now. I would definitely feel some sort of way about that. Like that's how I honestly all love, lust. I don't care if it's both. That's how I would feel. I'd be like, that is effed up. That's exactly what I would say. That is effed up. That's whack. They're all whack because there's 7 billion people in the world and there's animals too, and they could have found somebody else, but I don't care, and maybe, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if it's even that big of a deal, to tell you the truth. It's really not that big of a deal, but to me it's whack, you know? That's how I feel.
I mean, that's a good point, and that's true. I mean, there are some people that are my exes that I gotta admit, I still have a little thing there, just a tiny little bit, you know.
Right.
And if my best friend of all people, is slamming my ex, and crushing her, and I don't know, that might bother me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. That's why when we had this conversation about polyamory the other night, and you all need to look for that conversation. That was a very interesting conversation, by the way. Um, Sky was able to locate Dwayne Mooney, who is Paul Mooney's son, and he's a polyamorous, and we had a very interesting conversation about the lifestyle. Um, I don't know. Like this, it depends on who you're talking about. There's some exes that I wouldn't give a damn if my mother was sleeping with them. I wouldn't care. But then there are a couple of them.
Exactly.
There are a couple of them that it would bother me if my best friend was slamming that. You know what I mean? I like you said. So, we all have to be honest with ourselves, about, and why don't and you know what if that were to happen, like you or anything, you need to really examine, why do I feel this way? You know what? The only reason why those emotions rule you is because you avoid them. To be honest, you avoid those emotions. You run from them. You're like, oh, it overwhelms you, and you don't face them. But imagine if you have the power to face it and then exercise it. I mean, through water fasting. Water fasting is the key. Huh? I told you this was a
I don't
wellness
know how
show.
you brought those together. I don't know how
It's
you
true.
brought water fasting into this, but I like how you segue into the wellness component. Um, but in terms of, you're saying, how does one uh, face, are you saying how does one face the fact that their ex is with a friend of theirs? Is that what you just said?
Well, I mean, yeah, like how, like not only how, but how to get over. I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to be ruled by anything. You know what I mean? I would love to be that guy that, let's just say that God forbid that happened to me and it just doesn't bother me because I've moved on. I'm good. I'm connected to the universe and it's all good. Whatever you guys are doing, have fun. I'm straight. You know what I mean?
So you want to be that
So
person.
yeah, I want to be my higher self. That's really what
I don't want to be. I
you
don't.
don't want to be.
No, not at all.
You don't
Because
want to be
people
your
like
higher
that
self.
float. They float away. People I know who are so um, disconnected from emotion float away. They are like feathers, and I just blow. They're so like, yeah, man, it's cool. It's peace, man. It's all peace. get away from me with that crap. You know what I'm saying? I don't have time for that. I don't want to be light as a feather. I have to be grounded, and shit like that bothers me, and that's what makes me human, and I like to be that way. I don't want to be that ethereal that I can't connect with friggin' emotions. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes me human. I don't want to not. Things do bother me. People bother me. Situations bother me. Circumstances, what have you. The weather bothers me. So this is what makes me who I am, and this is what makes me human. And I connect with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be light as a feather and blow away and be like I remember this girl, one of my friends said it to me recently, and then way back another friend of mine said about the cold. She said, just think warm thoughts and and use your heart to warm yourself. You ever heard of frostbite? You know, like I don't I feel like I'm spiritual, but I don't want to be that deep, because I just feel like the people who I hear speaking like that, they irritate. And I'm just like, bye. That's kind of like why I gotta watch some ratchet TV every now and then, because even as ridiculous as this crap is, it's just a little grounded. I don't care what you say. I'm telling you how I feel, but it's grounded in the sense that it's emotional, and emotional to me is human. And all this monk crap, I'm not into it. That's just me. Not interested.
Well, I mean, that's a fair assessment. I mean, at the end of the day, right? It's an acceptance of of a lifestyle and a consciousness. You prefer not to, like you said, you feel like that would be like a feather like blowing away. I don't think it's not being grounded at all. I think that it's actually when you are in total control of your being, you are grounded. Okay? So, but that's what makes the world go around. There are people who subscribe to certain things, and there are people who don't subscribe to certain things. I don't think everybody's ever going to be one way anyway. And should we expect that? So that's fine. You're over there, and I'm over here. That's why this makes this such an interesting show, because I do not like ratchet TV. I think that is the most ungrounding thing that I do. That is not reality. That's ghetto. That's whack to me. You know what I mean? But I get it. I understand what you're saying. You know, but to each his own, and that's what makes the world spin. If everybody walked around in a pinstripe suit and a white hat, then we don't have anything interesting to live for. You know what I mean? I love complexity to a degree. I love it all. I'm a fan of humanity and all its flaws, and I always say that. So, at the end of the day, you might be all the way to the left, and might be all the way to the right. But isn't that beautiful? Even in you being all the way to the left, I don't have to bastardize you because you're to the left. I can celebrate you for who you are, and obviously your experience in your development, formed your character just like it did mine. So who am I to say, oh, you're completely wrong? That's bullshit. Oh, you watch that shit? Yeah, that's you're ratchet and ghetto. Like, I can't say that, because I don't know where you come from, and I haven't walked in your shoes, But the person that I know is Sky Juice, I totally respect and love and admire. So I got nothing bad to say. But all I could say is that um, when it comes down to would I ever date my friend's girlfriend, I would have to probably say no, today. But you never really know. And that's what I'm saying. You don't really, I can't say I wouldn't. I don't know because I haven't been there with my best friend. The person that I know as my best friend today, I don't see myself ever doing something like that, because I look at any woman that he brings and introduces to me, she's like a sister until he says she isn't, and then she ain't shit. I don't know. That could be wrong too, but that's just like we're thick as thieves. So when he introduced that concept to me, I was angry at first because I felt it broke the guy code, and I was like, I thought you were a different type of man. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, you got that man turning over in his grave. But then as I checked them, I say to myself, you know what? Wow, like let me think about this. Let me look at this. Maybe this is what the deceased person wanted for them, because maybe he didn't want his wife out there with, because she had dated a couple of guys and they were kind of like quote unquote clowns, and you know in her hurt, she took on a guy or two, and it was just a horrible union, and sometimes, a lot of things is spiritual, is angelic, that we can't explain from a physical dimension that we're in, and we have no idea what's up, so I don't know, I don't know. You know, Egotistically, hell no, but maybe spiritually and angelically, yeah, you know. But anyway, I want to talk about a couple of posts I read today. Um, there's a post from Venus Ketchum, our friend Venus Ketchum, and she's a good friend of mine. And recently she cut her hair low. It's really nice. I want you guys to check out her page, Venus Ketchum. And she put a post up that says, "Name a top lie that females tell." Now, Sky, keep it 100 now. What's a top lie that females tell to men? Like, what I came up with was a female will tell a guy, "Oh my God, oh, well, let's talk about faking it." A lot of females fake it sometime. And a lot of females will tell a guy he's got the biggest dick she's ever had, blah blah blah. So, Sky, what's
Yeah.
what's the best lie you ever told cats? I'm gonna mute on this one because I know you got some stories.
Silly rabbit. I don't tell guys nothing wrong. I don't lie to a guy. I don't fake orgasms. I think that, I mean, personally, it sounds like something white people do, but maybe black people do it. I don't know. It's not my thing. I don't try to big up a guy when he's not big. You know what I mean? Like, in any kind of way. I'm a little too real and dry to lie and fake and say, "Oh, you're so fine," and you're not, because I don't like guys who are not fine. So when I say that, I mean it. Yeah, I'm not the person to ask because I don't do that, at all. Never, ever. Can't think of one reason to do it. Say it again.
Maybe.
You broke up. Say it one more time.
Oh, I broke up. I said, "Am I fine?"
Yeah, you're fine in a cute way. Lie.
All right, cool.
Anyway,
Ow. All right.
don't put me on the spot like that.
You put yourself on the spot. Talk about white people. What's wrong
What?
with you, man?
Huh? Say it again.
No, I was saying, go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, no, like I said, to me it's a non-issue because I don't tell guys stupid stuff to make them feel better. I just don't do that. It's not my thing. Not to mention the fact that I'm not single, so a lot of that conversation is not just in my, it's not in my, it sounds like that would be something for folks who are in the dating world, and I'm not in it. And I have really rarely ever been in the dating world. since I was, let me go back about how long I've been in long-term relationships for my whole entire teenage and adult life. So the time when I was single was like a year or two. Then I was back in a long-term relationship. So I've never been like just constantly dating and oh, I'm gonna get with him. No, that didn't work out. I was never that person. So, that's just the way I roll. Is that groovy?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I got it. I got it. Do you think that by you not ever really being in the dating world, do you think that you missed out on anything?
No, I don't envy date people who date because it seems very intimidating to me. I feel like when folks are out there in the dating world, you're not really dating the person who you think you're dating their representative. And you have to see them for like a long period of time. Like it could be 3, 6, 9 months, a year until you actually really see who they really are. You kind of have to see them in different emotional states. You got to see them if they get angry. You got to see them, when they don't have any money. You got to see them in weird predicaments, like in the bathroom, on the toilet, to really get to know a person, you got to kind of be break through those comfort zones. And it takes a while. You can't, these people who are like, we are in love and together in 3 months. That's deep to me because I don't, I go very slowly. I'm super slow. I definitely am one of those who follow the 90-day rule. You know what that means, right? You do? Okay. um, and I just feel like dating sucks. So I wouldn't want to be in that world at all. And um, I admire especially women friends who are content with being single, because they got their life together, they're organized, they're doing their thing. But most of them are not content with being single.
Right. Well, you follow the 90-day rule. I follow the 2-day rule. So, I
Oh,
get it.
okay.
But, I follow the 90-minute rule, baby. Yeah, 90
Yeah.
minutes. You know. Oh, let me ask you a question. They say that a woman always knows she's going to sleep with a guy or not right away. Is that true for you?
Um, a woman always knows, like as soon as she meets him. Um, Maybe. I don't know if she always knows or she always knows that she wants to. Probably, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for being honest. That was fair. That's good. And remember, everybody, I want you to friend our mentor, Christopher Aaron. That's Christopher with a K, Ristopher, like you would spell Christopher, but with a K. And Aaron is two A's, Ron. I conducted my first successful water fast with him, and I learned how to water fast through him. I'm sure Sky's been fasting before him, but that's where I met Sky Juice and Claire Clouds and Monique the Doula and Shakti and Kevin Prieto and Vera, Helena. I mean, Stars and Butterfly. The list goes on. Well, me and M. Natasha Reed already knew each other, but I met a lot of people. A person that calls herself the Science of the Mind or the Infinite Mind, and then we have Jeannie Brown. Um, the list goes on and on. So I met a lot of people through that fast, and I learned how to fast successfully through Christopher Aaron. And tomorrow I'm going to quote some of his phenomenal posts that he puts on Facebook. He's like the wickedest cat in social media, for real. But tonight I'm going to talk about my boy Tony Veer. And I want you guys to like this Facebook page that's called Tony Veer's Relationship Advice. That's Tony, spelled Tony, regular Tony. Veer's is Vear apostrophe S, Relationship Advice. And I'll just read off a few of these. Um, the ways that men and women think are unthinkable for the other, which is why it feels so great when we're on the same page. I mean, the stuff that he spews out is never demeaning men, it's never demeaning women. It's just very comprehensive, insightful advice. You will learn a lot about yourself, relationships, how to succeed in relationships, how to love on yourself to attract the right partner to yourself. And that's why I love his work. So I will always big him up as long as he stays positive, and I know he will. Another thing he said is, if God has something better for humans than relationships, he's keeping it to himself. I love that one. And the last one I'll read, and this one had 69 likes, so I felt that I was ordained to bring this out to you, right? It says, feel free to focus on details, situations, rules, and agreements between you and your partner. Just make sure by doing so, you don't kill the relationship. There's a saying that implies here, the operation was a success, but the patient died. Love, first, rightness, second, or third, or 17th, as long as love is first. I mean, I love this guy's work. He's coming out with some seminars and workshops for couples, and I'll be forwarding that information to you. And I'm going to be on his marketing team, and I really want you guys to check him out. So that's Tony Veer's Relationship Advice. Tony, and Veer's is Vear apostrophe S, Relationship Advice. All right, so Sky, you got anything you want to holler at me about?
Yeah, my question to you is, what is dating like when you are over 40?
Well, when I get there, I'll let you know, baby. You know what I mean? I'm only 29, so how would I know?
Okay, what about 35 and older?
I'm 29, baby. All
Oh my
right, let me
goodness.
let me stop playing. I'm a 50-year-old male. Um, I've spent half of my adult life in relationships and half of my adult life out of relationships. Um, for the most part, I've been the problem. Um,
No,
because
no way. I don't believe that for a minute.
you're full of crap. Um, I'm very honest about me and about things that maybe didn't go right. You know, I'm at the point now where I work on myself. I'm newly in a relationship with a beautiful young lady, and we get along very well. And but that's very new, you know. And I have a whole different perspective about life and about love and about loving myself because, first of all, you will never date successfully. You will never be in a relationship successfully if you're not in love with yourself. You just won't. You keep attracting certain people to yourself that don't really fit you, or really they fit you because they fit the representative, like you said. You brought up the representative, and that's what a lot of us are going on. Um, you know, sorry, I'm eating my peanut. Now, actually, this is the nickname she gave me, Peanut. Don't I look like a peanut? Don't you want to eat me? So at the end of the day, right, before you even go back out there and start dating, and this is what I did. Like what happens is you sometimes you got to take a relationship and sex fast. So we're talking about fasting on water and stuff and things like that. Sometimes you got to just stay away and just cleanse yourself from relationships for a while and work on yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I did that a couple of times and I started working on myself, and I tell you, it's the best thing you could do. Some people feel like they can't be alone. It's amazing. Like some people just feel like they gotta be with somebody, they can't be alone. And I think that's the worst mistake you can make, because you just keep recycling the same old nonsense that's been happening. Sometimes you just gotta be by yourself and figure it out. And that's what I did. And I have a whole different perspective now, about love and what love really is and what it means to me, the benefits, and loving myself first. Because think about it, if the representative of you is a glass and that glass is 65% full, and you submerge that glass into something that's 100% full, you're going to draw from that. Anything that's not 100% looks to be 100%. You know what I'm saying? So I would like to be 100%. I'd rather my partner be 100%, but we don't need to rob each other of energy or anything. We're both 100%, and we come together, and you have magic. But if
Well,
if if she's
that is
65,
that is true, and I want to add to that. From my experience in and out of relationships, I think that a lot of people come together in this romantic, he's so fine, I love him, it's dreamy way of thinking, when the real crap, no, let me rephrase that. The real glue that keeps a relationship together is the organization and planning of creating a successful relationship. And I find that people who organize their relationship and plan to be successful, almost like you plan a business, when you plan a successful relationship, you create a successful relationship. When you talk about deal breakers and who's paying for what and how are we going to split the bills and when are we going to take vacations and how much money are we going to put aside for holidays and gifts and who's getting married next year, and have a calendar and really be organized. I find that the communication is clearer, the organization of finances is clearer. Okay, remember, every Friday is my day. Every Sunday is basketball day. Like, I see people who are in relationships that are just haphazardly going about their life trying to make it work. And it's all over the place. And I've been that way. And I find that the more organized you are, period, the better you're going to have a better relationship, because all this freestyling is, they say if you don't plan, you plan to fail. And I just feel like, as you get older and more mature and realize that whole love and romance, I'm 20 years old and he's cute and that's about it, that don't pay nothing. That doesn't sustain anything either. Because the real truth of the matter is relationships break up not because there wasn't love and romance and cuddly wuddly and all that stuff. It's because folks ain't organized. And what happens when you're not organized is you start disrespecting the other individual, because I thought we were talking about this, you're thinking something different, or you forgot. You understand what I'm saying? And then the scheme of this plan of our relationship is going off balance. So that's the way I see it. That's the way I'm working it. And I find that, of course, you don't have to be all on schedule for everything, but I feel like a lot of things really should be. And I think that's more to a healthier relationship, because I don't want to expect you to take the garbage out. I want us to have a conversation about it and realize that, hey, I'll do the dishes if you take the garbage out, and let's keep it 100 all the time. It's not a male or female thing. Each relationship is based on what that relationship is created as. You know what I mean? I don't believe in roles and man and women and all that kind of stuff. Well, in certain things I do, but I'm saying I think that each relationship has its own synergy, and folks need to understand it. They need to write it down and know what time it is. Even have a little couples relationship journal so that they know that, this is how we're doing this. This is our rules book, and have meetings and have, come together and talk about how things are and where things are. And I think that some couples need to have 3 accounts. They need to have their personal account, they need to have a together account, and they need to have the other person's account. And that's how I look at it. That's it.
Yeah, basically what you're saying is communication.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have open communication. I wasn't always somebody that was open to communication. I've had some very glamorous women in my life, and it was a my way or the highway situation for a while before I started finding myself. But not to point fingers, I didn't have any examples. My parents weren't married, they weren't never together. I never had an example of how a man is supposed to handle a relationship, and that also speaks to a lot of people. Um, when your dad's not in the house, it doesn't happen all the time. Some people are incredible, young men, and they come out, or maybe they've had like uncles or cousins that spoke to them, or they've had basketball coaches or whatever. Like I didn't have any of that, so I'm not blaming anybody. It's just it is what it is, and I had to figure it out all on my own. Now a lot of times that's what you have out here. You'll have a situation where um, a young man just doesn't know how to be in a relationship. For someone like me, I was for a good long while. Um, I was what you call detached, and when it came to relationships, I didn't want anybody getting too close. I didn't want that. You know what I mean? So the minute you start getting too clingy and all that, I found ways to destroy the relationship. You know, and I didn't have any examples of anything else. When you don't have a dad in the house, sometimes to you that you don't know how to be in a relationship with a real woman. You can be in a relationship with somebody that's not real because nothing's real anyway. But when you don't have an example, sometimes what happens is you get threatened. You get, especially if that woman's a strong woman, you get a little threatened by that. You know what I mean? And now there's arguments, there's fights, there's breakups, there's breakdowns, there's breakups, all that. You know what I mean? So I've been there for most of my young adult life, where I just couldn't maintain a relationship. 3 to 5 years was my limit. And if you're saying it's your limit, 3 to 5 years, you already broke up like in year three. In the 5 year span, year three, y'all broke up, but y'all just running on exhaust. If you broke up after three, you're running on a year and a half. So that's deep. It's deep. Um, I think that I think that people need to. I'm in love with the concept of mentorship, for young men, young boys, and stuff. I'm in love with that concept because there are a lot of us out here that, had to figure it out on our own. Like I said, I'm 50 years old and I'm just figuring it out now. You know what I mean? And mentorship is a beautiful thing if it's sincere, So anyway, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I'm just beginning to figure the puzzle of Brother Nature out. And actually I'm falling in love with myself. So It's a beautiful thing. I get it. It's wonderful. And I mean that's basically it. You know. So my wonderful co-host and gorgeous and wonderful and beautiful co-host Sky Juice, who I just met this Saturday, by the way. We did a workshop for all of you that don't know. We never met each other before, and we met each other for the first time, and we knocked out a workshop. That's how you do it. You know what I mean? We are gangster. We gangster, y'all. Y'all better recognize.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do it, baby.
It happens very, very synergistically. Yep. Where are you still there? I can't hear you. Oh.
No, I
So,
was muted. I was muted. I was muted.
okay. So anyway, you guys, thank you for listening. Feel free to leave comments down below on YouTube. And we are signing off. We're going to have some other juicy conversations later. And check it out on Sky Juice page on Facebook. Skai Juice, Juice. And what else? Brother Nature? What's your
Yeah, you
page?
can go to my page is I am Brother Nature I am, and also I'm my Facebook page is also Van Edwards, and you'll see the tree of life symbol on that. But yeah, we're signing off because we have a life and we have things we need to do. As much as we love to hang out with you guys, and inform you on the reality of life, we have things we have to do. We have loved ones, we have things to do. So we're signing off. Peace out. We're out. Later. Clear clouds. Love you. All right, y'all. Take care.
Yeah.
Mickey Howard, Kader, Prema Kader, Christopher Aaron. I love you. Tony Veer, Monique the Doula, Zen Butterfly, Disha Fornice, Greg Day, Science of the Infinite Mind, Shakti, Loves Living Life Holistically. I mean, hey, Vera Helena, listen, the list goes on and on. M. Natasha Reed, Tanya Brooklyn Bodison, we love y'all. Peace. We're out. Later. Check us tomorrow. 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, whatever that means to you. And trust me, we're going to come with a crazy topic tomorrow. Trust
Okay,
me.
wait a
You
minute.
want to tune in
I won't be
later.
able to
Oh,
do it tomorrow.
what's that?
I won't be able to do it tomorrow. I'll be traveling.
That's right. Uh, actually, Sky Juice is going back to the wonderful island of Puerto Rico. So I don't know if we'll have a call tomorrow. If you don't see the link, there won't be a call because she's the facilitator of the whole Marinate TV thing. So if not, just tune in Thursday night. But we'll try. We'll see what we could do. If we can't do it, then we'll definitely do it Thursday. And we love you. We thank you for tuning in. We see we have like 58 viewers here right now. Love you guys. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. It's just growing more and more every day. And without you, couldn't be done. So we love you. We thank you. And peace.
Alrighty,
And hair
later.
grease.